Germany, four-time World Cup champions, one of the tournament favorites, arriving at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, carrying an 11-match unbeaten run, already through to the round of 32 with top spot in Group E secured. And then Ecuador happened. Gonzalo Plata stabbed home in the 77th minute, and just like that, one of the most storied footballing nations on the planet was sent crashing to a shock defeat by a side that needed every last second of this match to survive. How does that happen? That is exactly what we are tearing apart today. Welcome to SoccerVault, the channel where we break down the beautiful game and never pull our punches. If you are new here, hit subscribe and stay with us. Let's get into it. Let me paint the full picture before we dive into the moments that made this match. Group E was always fascinating on paper. Germany the clear favorites, with Ivory Coast, Curacao, and Ecuador scrapping for the remaining positions. Germany had been superb through the group stage. Florian Wirtz was pulling strings in midfield like he had been doing it at this level for a decade. Their attacking combinations were crisp, their pressing was intense, and after 2 wins from 2, they had sealed top spot with maximum points before this final match even kicked off. Sebastian Nagelsmann faced a decision familiar to every top manager at the group stage. Do you field your strongest lineup, risking fatigue and injury before the knockouts start? Or do you rotate, trust the depth of your squad, and take the edge off your starters? Nagelsmann chose rotation. Several key players were held back or given reduced roles. And on paper, with Germany already through, that was a perfectly defensible call. Ecuador, however, were in an entirely different headspace. 4 points from 2 matches. They were alive, but not safe. Other results would determine their fate, and the only thing they could control was what happened in New Jersey. They were playing with their tournament on the line, and you could feel that intensity from the first whistle. This was a match between a team playing for survival and a team playing for routine maintenance. And football, beautiful, cruel football, almost always rewards hunger. The opening exchange was sensational. Germany wasted no time. Leroy Sané fired them ahead in just the second minute. 2 minutes. The assist came from Florian Wirtz, who even in a rotated lineup found that creative spark instantly. His precise through-ball split Ecuador's defensive line, and Sané's finish was clean, low, and absolutely ruthless. MetLife Stadium, packed with noise, exploded. Ecuador had barely touched the ball, and they were already chasing the game. But here is where Ecuador showed exactly the kind of character that got them to this World Cup. No panic, no desperate long balls, no dropping into a defensive shell and hoping for the best. They kept pressing, kept working the channels, and kept believing. And in the 9th minute, just 7 minutes after going behind, Leonardo Angulo drilled home one of the goals of this tournament, 20 yards. A thunderous low strike that flew past Manuel Neuer after Felix Nemecha, inexplicably, carelessly, gave the ball away in his own half. An absolute gift, taken with absolute precision. 1-1. Those opening 9 minutes were breathless, electric, and a perfect preview of everything to come. 2 teams swinging at each other, neither blinking. This was no dead rubber. This was war. Now, let's talk about the moment that could have swung this entire match in Germany's favor. Less than 30 seconds into the second half, barely time to get comfortable, Kai Havertz went down in the Ecuador penalty area. Joel Ordóñez appeared to make contact, the referee pointed to the spot immediately, and Germany were on the brink of taking the lead. Ecuador protested. VAR was consulted, and after what felt like an eternity at the pitch side monitor, the decision was overturned. The reason? Leroy Sané, the same man who scored Germany's opener, had fouled Ecuador's Djorkaeff Vite in the build-up to the incident. The contact was minimal, the kind of thing that gets missed in real time every week across football, but VAR is designed precisely to catch it. No penalty, decision stands. Germany were absolutely incandescent. Nagelsmann on the touchline looked like a man who had just been handed a parking ticket outside his own house. And here is where the match turned psychologically. Because right in the immediate aftermath of that escape, Sané himself had a golden opportunity to put Germany back in front. One-on-one, clear side of goal, Galíndez to beat, and he shot, tamely, straight at Alexander Galíndez. A reckless, tame, completely flat effort from a player of that caliber. The kind of miss that burns itself into your memory. The kind of miss that teams look back on and say, that was the moment we gave it away. Ecuador were alive, Ecuador were energized, and Ecuador were about to deliver the killer blow. 77 minutes, corner kick swings in from the right. Kevin Rodriguez, pressing, attacking, demanding the ball, rises at the near post and flicks it perfectly into the danger zone, right in front of Manuel Neuer. Gonzalo Plata, alert, sharp, instinctive, stabs it home before any German defender can react. 2-1 Ecuador. The scenes were extraordinary. MetLife, absolutely packed with South American supporters who had waited for exactly this moment, erupted into something primal and joyful. Plata wheeled away toward the corner flag with pure, raw disbelief on his face. This was not just a goal. This was qualification. This was survival. This was Ecuador announcing themselves to the rest of the tournament. Germany pushed hard for an equalizer in the final 13 minutes. Havertz tested Galíndez, substitutes were thrown on, the urgency was clear. But Ecuador were magnificent in those closing stages. Galíndez marshaled his defensive line superbly, winning every aerial duel, punching every cross. The final whistle came and Ecuador's players collapsed onto the MetLife grass in pure relief. Germany's 11-match unbeaten run was over. Ecuador were through to the round of 32. Here is my hot take. And I fully expect the comments section to be divided. Germany lost this match the moment Nagelsmann decided to rotate. I understand the logic entirely. Protect your key players, reduce injury risk, let the squad breathe before the knockout stage. That is a professional, rational decision. But football does not reward rationality when the other side is fighting for their lives. Ecuador treated this match like a cup final, because for them, it essentially was. Every tackle, every header, every second ball, every set piece, Ecuador wanted it more. You could see it. Germany's rotated players were technically capable but mentally elsewhere, already thinking about their round of 32 opponent. And when you allow that kind of motivational gap to open up, a result like this becomes not just possible, but probable. My bigger point? This is a structural issue with the World Cup group stage format. When one team has mathematically secured their position before the final match day, the integrity of the contest is compromised. Ecuador deserved their win. Make no mistake about that, their goals were brilliant and their resilience was outstanding. But should FIFA be looking at a format that ensures every team always has something meaningful on the line? Absolutely yes. This match makes that argument perfectly. So, where does this leave the Group E picture heading into the knockouts? Germany advance as group winners with 6 points. Despite this loss, they are still one of the most dangerous teams in this tournament. Their attacking depth, their defensive solidity, their tactical flexibility, none of that disappears because of a result against a motivated Ecuador side. They face a third-place qualifier in the round of 32 and will be heavy favorites. Do not write Germany off for a single second. Ecuador go through with 4 points as one of the best third-place finishers across all groups. Their path through the knockouts will be tougher, they will face a group winner, but after a performance like this, you would back this squad to give anyone a game. Plata, Angulo, Galíndez, these are players the rest of the tournament now has to worry about. Ivory Coast also advance in second place, setting up a fascinating knockout draw. Group E has produced 3 teams with quality, character, and belief. The knockout stage is here, and it is going to be spectacular. That is your SoccerVault breakdown of Ecuador's stunning, dramatic, absolutely historic 2-1 victory over Germany at World Cup 2026. I want to know, did Germany's rotation cost them this match, or was Ecuador simply the better side on the night? Was the overturned VAR penalty the moment that changed everything? Should FIFA change the group stage format? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one, and I want a real debate on this one. If you enjoyed the breakdown, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our knockout stage coverage right here on SoccerVault. See you for the next one.